Hi everyone, Monique Shaw here from Rewrite, and welcome to The Change, part 3 in my 4-part video series for the Rewrite Your Career Story program. If you haven't already, go and check out part 1, the life audit, and part 2, the brand review. You'll be able to find those videos anywhere you found this one, and they are all stored on my website at rewrite.com. So the change is all about all of those challenges and barriers that inevitably come up when we're trying to create and also maintain change in our lives. In this video, I'm going to talk about one of the areas of the part, which is limiting beliefs and your inner critic, and also provide a couple of tools that I use with my clients to really help excavate and start to clear those limiting beliefs. Now, the Rewrite Your Career Story program is all about, surprisingly, rewriting your career story. But that doesn't necessarily mean changing jobs, changing careers, quitting the 9 to 5. It may end up meaning any and all of those things, but really it's fundamentally about changing your relationship with work, changing the way that work connects to all of the other areas in your life. And we go right down to the root, the very foundation, to work out what's going on for you right now. How are you showing up? What are your motivations? What are your drivers? What's making you happy, unhappy, energized, demotivated, underwhelmed, overwhelmed? And then brick by brick through personal brand work, skills analysis, rewriting your personal brand, and action planning, vision boarding for the future, we start to build up what your new career story will look like. Now, all of those things are fantastic, but they're not going to make any lasting impact in your life unless you learn the ways in which to overcome those inevitable change barriers and challenges. So in this part, I talk about, I provide information, but also language to use to work out when those things are coming up and how you can talk about them, and also tools to help you overcome them. In my work, I'm very much around curiosity, awareness, and intentionality. So when stuff's coming up, getting curious about it, which creates more awareness and then facilitates more intentionality around it. Okay, so part 3, the change, is 3 separate modules. Module 1 is limiting beliefs and your inner critic. Module 2 is ritual, mindset, and new habits. And module 3 is accountability and celebrating the wins. We're going to focus on, as I said, limiting beliefs and your inner critic. So that's module 1. Okay, so limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs are those internalized beliefs that we have that hold us back in some way. And they come in via a range of different sources. So it can come in through your family, society, it can come in through the media, your friendship group, church, whatever groups you're a part of. And you really start to take them in and believe them and internalize them in such a way that they can remain unchecked, unchallenged, and unexamined. That's why working with a coach can be so powerful, because coaches are trained to look out for those limiting belief patterns and to draw them out and start to challenge them with their clients. Now, your inner critic, you may have heard people talk about silencing your inner critic or getting rid of your inner critic. I don't actually believe that you can do that. I believe that we will always have that voice in our head. We will always have that inner critic. So what I seek to do is give people the tools to become objective about our inner critic and become aware of what it's saying and almost detached from what it's saying, and be able to observe it from sort of above and get a bit curious about it and, decide if we want to believe what it's saying or if we want to step over it and take action anyway. So your limiting beliefs are really the narrative of your inner critic. And I do a lot of work throughout this program to try and identify what those limiting beliefs are. So what I do in the program, and this is something that you can do as well at home, in whatever activity you're trying to do or whatever change you're trying to create in your life, when you're going through the process, start to take note of when that inner critic pops up. So I call it the inner critic commentary. And on the program, I ask everybody to get a notebook, usually something beautiful and special, because I love stationery. But get a notebook and have a section in there, and up the top, put it inner critic commentary. And then when you're working through the exercises, when you're working through something new, when you're exploring something, and that voice inevitably comes up telling you, well, you're too lazy, you'll never do that, or you didn't do that thing yesterday, you're never going to make it, whatever it is that comes up. Whenever that stuff raises its head, just jot it down objectively, impassively, just write it down. Don't question it, don't check it, just write it down. You're just observing at this point. And then over time, when you go back, and we do the change at the 6th week, so that's a month and a half in, when you go back and start to read that inner critic commentary, you'll see those limiting beliefs that are woven through it. So that limiting belief that maybe you're not good enough, that limiting belief that you're too lazy, that limiting belief that you're too much, that will start to be repeated time and time again. When you can see the same thing coming up and there's a pattern there, that is a deeply ingrained limiting belief. So that's tool 1. The inner critic commentary. And that's just an observer's tool. It's something that gives you access to that information. And once you have access to that information, you have awareness of it and then can be intentional about it. So the second tool I want to share with you is an exercise that I came across on YouTube, actually, from an executive coach called Adam Mortimer. Now, bear with me because this is going to get a little fun. But what I want to do with you is a visualization exercise that I do with my clients. And I use this a lot with my one-to-one clients. It's a really powerful exercise to be guided through. So if you're replaying this back at home, then try and find some space that's on your own, that's quiet, and allow yourself a good 5 or 10 minutes to just sit down and go through this exercise. Okay, in order to do this exercise, you will need to draw upon one of your limiting beliefs. So try and think of a limiting belief, something that comes up for you a lot. If you can't think of one on the spot, just think through of something like, I'm not good enough, I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm too lazy, one of those standard repeated inner critic narratives that many of us have. Okay, now get that limiting belief in your mind's eye and close your eyes and take a deep breath in and out and just ground yourself in the space that you're in. And say that limiting belief either in your mind or out aloud. And then I want you to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10. How strongly do you feel that limiting belief in your body? And when you've got that number, now I want you to think about that limiting belief in terms of where the energy is in your body. So where do you feel it? When you say that out aloud or in your mind, do you feel it in your stomach, in your chest, in your throat? Where is it coming through? And now give it a color and a shape. And whereabouts is it? Is it inside your body? Is it outside your body? How big is it? Is it opaque? Is it transparent? Get a really, really clear image in your mind of how that limiting belief is showing up physically, manifesting physically in and around your body. And when you've got that really clear in your mind, start drawing it out of your body. Or if it's already outside of your body, just sending it away. And just in your mind's eye, watch it disappearing or evaporating, disappearing off into the distance. And when it's gone, say the limiting belief again, and give it another number. Rate it from 1 to 10. And when you've rated it again, imagine where is it in your body? What color is it now? Is it the same color? Where is it placed? Is it still opaque? Is it still transparent? Is it the same size? Get that vision in your mind again of how that limiting belief is manifesting energetically in your body. And go through the exercise again. Start drawing it out, sending it on, watching until it evaporates. And then say that limiting belief again and rate it from 1 to 10. And go through that exercise and again until you get down to 0. Until that limiting belief no longer has a strong energetic impact in your body. Now, why this exercise is so powerful is because the next time you have that limiting belief, rather than either leaving it unchecked or trying to challenge it without any tool, you can then take yourself into your body again. So just imagine, for example, your limiting belief was manifesting as a pink triangle. You can see that pink triangle and you can just imagine yourself drawing that pink triangle out of your body and sending it on. So it's something that you can use again and again and again, and it's something that you created. It's how you visualize that belief manifesting in your body. And it also allows you to detach yourself from it, to make it something that's outside of you. So inner critic commentary, and then the use of visualization to turn that limiting belief into something that you can send on. So that's it for today's video. For the next and final video, the rewrite, I'll be back on the 24th of August, and that's when we're going to sit down and start to write your new career story. And I'm going to use one of my favorite exercises. I think I actually created it, but maybe not, we'll see. So that's everything for this week. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you very soon.